Hello, and welcome to another episode of Happy Hour with Hockett. As usual, my name is Anna Hockett, and I am your host. And we do have a special guest today. We have Terrell with us, who is, well, I'll let him introduce himself in just a moment, but I have to give my weekly plug to the Colorado Springs Rising Professionals, or the CSRPs, or I've heard it recently called the RPs, which is exciting that it's starting to get a little bit of a buzz and people are just abbreviating it. So that's all good. But to remind everybody that Colorado Springs Rising Professionals is a great group to join, whether you've been in Colorado Springs for years or you just moved here, whether you're looking to network specifically with Colorado Springs Rising Professionals folks, or get connected with other organizations, nonprofits, businesses, or individuals that might be a good fit for you to network with. So it's made a huge difference in my life in the last couple of months here. And without further ado, we can kind of kick things off. Now, Terrell, I know you're in the fitness industry like a few of our other guests, so I understand if you don't have a cocktail with you, but we usually start the show with a little virtual cheers. So cheers to you, sir.
Yeah, cheers to you as well. Yeah, I got my water jug.
I like it. Well, I have to tell everybody, because there's another interview coming out soon. This is a craft cocktail from Black Hat Distillery, where you guys, they give you these to-go mixers to mix with your booze, and then you feel like you're a mixologist in your own home during this whole deal.
Oh yeah, that's a vibe for sure. Between me and you, I'm a Blueberry Cosmo type guy.
Well, in that case, that's kind of a girly drink, but that's okay. They have a drink there that you would absolutely love if you like Cosmo. So it's called the Classy Lady. So get this, they give you these containers and a list of instructions, which is basically like pour the booze in the shaker and then pour the mix in the shaker. And if you want to put limes in it, like I always do to make it a little more fancy. But it's so simple, and they're delicious, and they're super fresh, and like 100% natural and organic, or something like that.
I like it.
But back to you, Terrell. Tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about Hillside Connection.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. First and foremost, thank you for the platform. Thank you for the opportunity. Thankful just to, be a part of Olympic City, USA, a place that's, dear to my heart, a place that I grew up at. A little context on myself. You already said my name, but my name's Terrell Brown. I'm the founder, you could say, and president, CEO, whatever title you want to give me.
You're a big shot, Terrell. That's all everybody needs to know. And Hillside. A local Colorado Springs guy. This is one of the first locals that we've had on the show.
A local, of Hillside Connection, a small nonprofit that I built from the ground up, designed to leverage the game of basketball to create pathways, opportunities for kids in Southern Colorado Springs. And when I say kids, we're serving underprivileged youth boys, grades 1st through 8th, and youth girls. We started that this year, grades 1st through 5th, in a fun environment to learn, sport and learn what sport teaches you, life skills wise. So I can go into great detail about what we do if I got time to talk. I'm long-winded.
Oh, absolutely. We want to hear all about it. I have to say, what a special thing to do for the community that and you said you were born and raised here?
Yeah, definitely. And I can go into detail about that. So I'm born and raised from Colorado Springs. I grew up on the south side of town. And when I say south side, Memorial Park, Hillside area, that's dear to my heart. Growing up, the game of basketball, that was my safe haven. That kept me off the streets, and I grew up in the Hillside Community Center. So at a young age, I learned the importance of, community involvement, the importance of never forgetting where you come from, and just the hunger to make it out of, tough situations. So the game of basketball, that was my tool. Fast forward, in my middle school age years, I was exposed to the business side of sport, okay? So I went to East Middle School. That's literally Galileo now, right across the street from BJ's Velvet Freeze. If you're headed north on Union, it's Galileo, but it used to be called East Middle. That was a school that all of us were bused to from the south side, rough around the edges, predominantly Hispanic school, but I was always gifted in sport, a solid student, right? So my life changed when my B Squad basketball coach pulled me in the office, Coach Yates, going into my senior year. He's like, hey man, have you ever thought about going to a private school? I'm like, what? He's like, there's a private school in the Broadmoor called the Colorado Springs School. You're a gifted student, a decent athlete. I want you and your parents to go check it out. So at age 11, going on 12, I was provided a full ride scholarship, roughly $15,000 a year, to go help build this basketball program with the top 2%ers in the state in the Broadmoor. I was able to bring two of my close friends with me, Jalen Little, Danny Smith at the time. Jalen's dad served as our middle school coach. So I went from a kid in the community, right, underprivileged in our own right to predominantly affluent, individuals. And I was there from 7th through 9th. I woke
I
up
gotta
one.
stop you and ask,
Yeah,
what was that like?
it was a culture shock. I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? That was the first time in my life I heard about what an ice cream social was. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, I show up on campus. I have a host family, and my host family was the Olins, and Alex Olin, the kid who was my host family, he's actually overseas right now in China. He's an agent with the Chinese Basketball Association.
Oh,
But
wow. Okay.
yeah, like Alex Olin, I had a host family, so it was a culture shock. But as I progressed and as I look back at it, that's how I'm able to connect with people from all different walks of life, right? I think impact has no color to it, and in the state of the world right now, it's important to be able to navigate that as a Black man in America. You feel me? So
Of
that's just the
course.
truth. So it was eye
Absolutely.
opening. Yeah,
I appreciate you sharing that with us. That's incredible. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So I finished out at
Like,
Palmer
you
High School.
understand that I walk by that because we live in this area, and I'm
Yeah,
very, very fortunate to live really close to what is it called? The Colorado Springs School, right?
yeah, the Baltimore. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the area that I live in. And
Oh, okay.
I walk by it or run by it all the time on my running route. And
Yeah,
someone recently was telling me how much it is a year,
yeah. I was
which is,
there.
I mean, if you, it's amazing, right? It's a great school. And I
Mhm.
said, I wouldn't even pay that for college.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's
I was
sick.
fortunate, like I told you, I was fortunate to have a tennis scholarship. So I was, that's,
Yeah,
that's, that's
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
interesting, especially with what you're saying you kind of grew up with. Wow.
Yeah, no doubt. So fast forward after that experience, I left after my freshman year at Colorado Springs School. We lost in the state semis. We're undefeated. Still couldn't get over the hump athletically. We talked about my story a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, I left. I went to Pomar High School my sophomore year through senior years, right downtown. My mentor when I was a kid, Mr. Kenny Callum, ran the Hillside Community Center. And
Okay.
he was on Palmer's basketball coach and staff with Coach Dan McKernan in the 2000s, and they won a state championship. So he would pick me up at 5 a.m. in the morning as a kid, and I understood what it meant to be a terror, right? So I
Right.
ended up going to be a terror through my senior year, rushed into a decision, went to 3 colleges in 5 years, chasing a basketball dream, started out at University of South Dakota, hated it. It was freezing. I redshirted my first year. I came back home, went to Terrell Junior College, mine still fixed on hoops, and played 1 year there, runner-up region player of the year, still couldn't get over the hump, lost in the region championship my freshman year, but I left with 3 years eligibility, and I went to Montana State with
Go
3 years.
Bobcats, guys. I
Yeah,
went to Montana State too, so
yeah,
this is a really cool
yeah,
connection
this is
between
tough.
Terrell and
Yeah, this is a
myself.
real connection. Hillside connection is all, yeah, connected, right? So I ended up going to Montana State, played my sophomore and junior years out there, but going into my junior year, my mind started to change. Something like dawned in me, like in my intuition, like I need to develop a different skill outside of just sport, right? So I backtracked to some of the connections that I had as a kid. Mr. Thayer Tutt, shout out to him and the Tutt family for giving me a chance at Pomar Foundation as a summer intern. I worked there for a summer, going into that sophomore year. And then going into my junior year, we had a coaching change. I worked another summer before that junior season. So my mind's already, evolving, right?
Right.
Junior season went bad. The coach pulled me into the office going into the end of the year, and he says, hey, Brown, I wish I had a reason to do this. It's like, hey, man, I'm going to cut you from the team. I wish I had a reason. You're a great player. You're a great student. I want you to transfer somewhere else so you can have a chance to go play professional basketball, right?
Okay.
So he feels as if he's talking to your traditional, let's keep it real, inner city,
Yeah.
African-American kid whose mind is just fixed on hoop. Little did he know, my mind, I'm developing other skills, right?
For sure.
I'm like, you just can't tell me that and think I'm cool with it.
No.
So I left the office, went to that AD. They really couldn't help. But one thing I could do was write a letter to the NCAA. So I worked with the compliance office. We got that in. I knocked out my finals. And I came back home, worked at El Pomar one more summer. But after that 6-week stint of an internship, I really didn't know what my future had in store. So I was working at Armstrong Moving Company here in town for a month and a half. And just like I told you, give or take, I'm a pretty boy in my own right. Forgive me for this COVID stuff that I got going on right here up top, but that's funny. But yeah, I was working there at a moving company, not my thing. I tell my cousin at the time, like, hey man, this is why we got to get an education, right? That's nothing they could take from us.
Right.
By the grace of God, I got a call back from the NCAA. We're moving a family late August, a week before school starts, into a house on Fort Carson. It was raining. And I had to pick up the phone, and I remember this day vividly. And he's like, hey, Terrell Brown, we're going to grant you your full tuition, athletic age. You go back to Montana State, finish out school. You just can't play. So guess what I did? I packed my stuff, knocked it out. Fast forward after that, I graduated from Montana State in 2016, business marketing major. There's a fellowship program at Pomar Foundation. Still going on today. One of the best, postgraduate experiences I feel like in the world. Yeah. And I applied. I got the position as a program associate, worked that for 2.5 years. And during the first year as a program associate, I saw a huge need here in town with youth and sport. That's speaking towards the underprivileged, right? Yeah. A lot of kids in my neighborhood didn't have access. There wasn't hoops at Memorial Park. And that dawned on me. I'm like, I don't want to use the words obligated, but with the resources and the education and ability to, mobilize people that I have, that's a gift of God, right? Yeah. I'm like, man, you got to return back to where you're from and create change through what you know best, which is hoops. So that's how Hillside Connection came about in 2017, a program just with a Facebook post. Hey, we're going to be at the center on a Sunday. That's not feasible for everybody, but 30 kids show up for 5 weeks on a Sunday.
Just from a Facebook post?
Kids you not, from a Facebook post. Kids you not. 5 weeks in a row on a Sunday. And I look at my dad, who's been doing community work for years, and I look at some of my volunteer coaches, and I'm like, yo, I think we got something here.
Yeah.
So after that, throughout my fellowship experience, thanks to Mr. Hibble and just the foundation for, provide me with a platform to help, El Pomar and their inner work team is how they help Colorado communities, but build my dream, a passion project while I'm working there, right? So we worked on our bylaws, articles of incorporation for a year. We got fully incorporated as a nonprofit in 2019. And today, we're served, since 2017, over 350 kids have walked through our doors. I say 125 kids annually, roughly. And our 4-tiered approach towards youth development is basketball clinics, enrichment activities, community engagement projects, and we host a free competitive summer league this summer. We weren't able to do it in June. Hopefully we can work some out later months, but a free summer league outside of Memorial Park for kids in the community. All programming is free, tops, bottoms. It's just an environment, just providing people where I come from with a newfound sense of hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit long-winded. That's in a nutshell. Yeah, the story.
No, are you kidding me? That's incredible. And then I don't even have to ask you questions because you're getting to the point without me having to blab on to everybody. So this
I'm straight to the money. Yep, straight to it.
I like it. So tell me a little bit more about the actual programs, because if we have people that want to get involved or do you, obviously we're in a little bit of a different environment now, but hopefully things are starting to open up. So is it all at Memorial Park, or do you still do things at the Hillside Community Center?
Today, right now, give or take COVID, it's a little tough. So we're heading to a digital arena. We have this dope platform that's going to be launched within a week and a half. Prizes, giveaways, videos, you name it. But to answer your question, we do operate out of the Hillside Center.
You do? Okay.
And we do leverage outdoor court spaces like Memorial Park. Palmer High School that I went to, great relationship with them folks there. They have their auxiliary gym that we're able to execute out of. So right now we're kind of in a standstill, but ways people can help. This has given me time because it is volunteer driven. And there's a lot of things that we do to develop internal processes, you know what I'm saying? The infrastructure, different working committees, whether it's a finance or fundraising team to help us generate, some income to stay afloat. Those are immediate ways that professionals here in town can definitely, help, because it's going to take a village to raise, all kids in the city, not just underprivileged kids from the South Side, but all of our youth.
Of course.
As I see in the foreseeable future. So
definitely. Is there a way that they can get involved immediately? Do you have, I've been on your website a zillion times just because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was talking about here, but can they can go, do you have, or are you kind of figuring out in the next couple months, you're figuring out, are there corporate sponsorship opportunities or specific kid sponsorship opportunities and certain amounts that people can start to think about?
Yeah, definitely. And right now on our website, there is a way to give, a one-time donation, or you can donate, every month. And that information can be found on our donation tab at www.hillsideconnection.org. But towards, specific programming, we were blessed that we didn't have crazy overhead costs to operate, right? Because it's coming from the heart. So we did the Indie Give campaign. That was great in 2019. And we were able to fundraise damn near our whole operating budget for a year.
Really?
So right now, we're trying to take a step into legitimacy. And that's where this human capital, people who have different resources, different donors, different connectivity can come to the table. And there's multiple projects that we're trying to get, up in the works and communicated to the community. That's going to take dollars, you know what I'm saying, to execute.
Absolutely. That's the way it works. So tell me about like one or two of those projects, those specific projects, if you want.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the projects right now, so backtrack again to the story. In 2017, there wasn't hoops at Memorial Park. In partnership with Colorado Trust in the city of Colorado Springs, we are able to go to those courts, paint the lines, put up hoops. And these are all, adult volunteers. And we had some kids helping. This is in 2017. Fast forward to now, we've executed 2 summers of a free summer league out there, activating those courts. But the visionary that I am, the project that's in the works, and we'll have the artistic value drawings coming out soon for the community, is the refurbishment of those courts to a higher level.
Okay.
When I speak of Olympic City, USA, I think of, an incubator space that the old man across the street might want to just come shoot some free throws because it's vibrant. There's fiberglass backboards now. There's post-tension court surface with, the Colorado symbolism, color scheme-wise.
Yeah.
And it's opportunity for people from all places to feel connected to this space that's adjacent to downtown that nobody necessarily really understands the history of. So I'm in the process of developing a plan to refurbish the courts at Memorial Park and God willing at Hillside Community Center again. And you can definitely see it can happen. Within the past couple of weeks, we've taken a step into that social enterprise type model, selling hoodies, right? Mm-hmm. We're able to shoot 140 units in 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
So that's amazing for a small nonprofit. Give or take, we're not Amazon. It's going to take us time to get them out, right?
Of course.
There's a bang for your buck. You will know where your dollar's going. So that's where we could leverage, CRSP, just the Colorado Springs community, to share the history of the South Side, right?
Yeah.
But to make it a place that's for all people, not just, people from my walk of life. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I'm obsessed. Like I need a hoodie. I need some swag. Let's go.
Yeah. We gotta get you some swag. So we're sold out, but I got a special order for you.
I want some stuff. No, this is amazing.
Yeah, we got fitted caps and stuff coming soon.
Amazing.
Yeah, some stuff down the pipeline to keep the community excited. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like the programming or the clinics for the kids. So are there different age groups? Is it, tell me a little bit about that, just because that's when my brother will ask me, you guys, my brother's an assistant basketball coach in Wisconsin. So he's like going nuts about the fact that I'm doing this interview right now. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about like the specific programming. And I'm assuming that's all volunteer driven.
Yeah, all volunteer driven. So we have a good core group of coaches, from the South Side, and additional college coaches in their free time will come down and help, the kids understand the fundamentals and just the importance of having fun with sports. So in more context, we host a winter summer league, a winter basketball clinic, geez Louise, a winter basketball clinic and a summer basketball clinic, right?
Okay.
That's our first tier. A basketball clinic is a 5-week experience. So we do have different age groups. We have a 1st through 3rd grade Pee-wee group, right? Okay. They have a 90-minute session followed by a 4th and 5th grade group around a 90-minute session, and then a middle school age boys group. And during this 90 minutes, we're doing fundamental drill development, building on skills that they learned in week 1. So by week 5, they might be playing 3-on-3 competitively, right?
Right.
So that's why we're doing it in a week, on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. So boys, for an example, their clinics were held on Sundays. So at the Hillside Community Center every Sunday, we're there from 9 to like 1:30 in the afternoon with the boys.
Right.
And then followed on Mondays, because this is when the space, is available and donated. We execute our young girls, basketball clinics. We're able to host them in a 1st through 5th grade environment.
Okay.
And this was the first winter we had a girls camp, and there was 40 young ladies consistently in the gym with Shonda Graham, my board secretary, leading them, and myself and some volunteer coaches teaching girls. There is opportunity within sport, and I can see the girls programming between me and you like exceeding like the boys, because there's not a lot of opportunities for young ladies out there. Everybody just speaks towards boys, right?
For
So
sure,
that's
especially
like
in the basketball.
yeah, that's our basketball clinic environment. And within those 5 weeks, we'll bring in a guest speaker. We'll convene, you know what I'm saying, all the kids to take a group photo. And if a kid attends 4 out of the 5 sessions, they're eligible for an enrichment activity. Okay. So backtrack to our winter basketball clinic, a great friend of mine, Craig Smith, UCCS Athletics opened their doors for us to bus. Shoot, we had 90 kids on the bus this winter. 30 kids met us at the gym. Family members were able to go to a game, pizza, mascot, an experience. That was their enrichment for, you know, their commitment those 5 weeks during the winter clinic. So I think that leads into a little bit of the other tiers, but anything you want to say?
No, I was just going to say, I bet that's for some of those kids, no matter where you're from, when you're a kid, stuff like that, I feel like is the best thing you've ever done in your life. Right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure some of those kids that like no matter what walk of life they're from, being able to go to a college basketball game and have an experience with the mascot and have some, I mean, like that you're changing their lives, Terrell. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate it. And the second tier is that enrichment piece. Yeah. So in addition to that, throughout the year, it might be the Olympic Museum. I'm speaking that into existence, right? When it opens, right. There's opportunities for, you know, kids to go, parents to go. So in the past, we've been to the Fine Arts Center. A couple kids have been invited to National Cybersecurity's weekly trainings, right? To where they can see different things, just exposing them to things outside of the Southeast Quadrant or stuff that's home to them that they don't necessarily know about. The Fine Arts Center is freaking 8 minutes away.
Right there, absolutely.
Yeah, but they don't even know, right? So it's pretty eye-opening to see parents and kids see something new. So that's what that enrichment piece is about. And then that community engagement, painting the lines at Memorial Park. We paint the lines at Deerfield Hills Community Center. We're in the works of trying to coordinate some stuff with Springs Rescue Mission, Myron Stratton Home, making sure parents and kids understand that you got to have some skin in the game. Don't forget to give back. Colorado Springs Sports Corporation, they were our fiscal sponsor until we got our nonprofit status, handling our finances and whatnot. And they host different stuff at Memorial Park. So we need to support them, right? So it's all mutually beneficial. And then competitive leagues, that summer league, I can definitely see that grow. Knock on wood, the refurbishment of those courts would be amazing. Now people are able to sit. Now higher levels of people are able to come and play on courts. Concrete is tough on the joints, right?
Right.
But there's so much opportunity for growth in that arena too. So those are the 4 tiers. And right now within COVID, I've been preaching this above and beyond sport because people ask like, man, are y'all a youth sports team? Like, what is this? No, we're using sport as a tool to bring kids together so they can develop leadership skills. But within that, like there's challenges that our kids are facing that extend way beyond just putting a ball in the hoop.
Of course.
So during COVID, you know, thanks to great support, we're able to connect with a couple foundations to provide, you know, our families with rent and utilities assistance, King Soopers gift cards, things that are really life-changing because between me and you heard my story. Like, I don't want to sound, you know, like crazy when I say this, but I really don't care that much about basketball. I do. I understand the opportunity they can provide, but man, if you could walk away with a free education or some lifelong entrepreneurship skills or something that nobody can take from you, whether an injury, nobody can take your mind, like that's where my mind's at with it. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is such an inspiring story. I'm thinking, here I am sitting in my own home office.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I'm so grateful for your time. We've already gone a little bit over what I told you this was going to take. So we can definitely wrap it up, but I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We'll make sure that everything that you mentioned is tagged and all of that in the, like the piece of the, like the, wherever we posted it, it'll be on YouTube, LinkedIn, or I'm sorry, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff.
Yeah, tag us on Instagram, and this is my shameless plug for anybody who's watching. Follow us on Instagram, Hillside Connection. Visit our website, www.hillsideconnection.org. And it's going to take a village, you know, to better serve the youth, give a voice for the people who don't necessarily have a voice, but most importantly, connect the dots, no matter what race, what background, where you come from. I believe there's a true home and with what we do, and the power of sport is amazing. Look at the Olympics, so Olympic City USA is in an amazing space. Let's just continue to build. So
absolutely,
yep, all love. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm like so inspired right now. I'm really happy that I got the chance to meet you, and hopefully we can meet in person at some point soon here, and I can see the courts. And
yeah,
I was a high school varsity basketball player, but I basketball was not my thing. But
that's what I'm talking about. You could teach it though.
I can teach a workout class to the kids for sure.
But talking about, let's get it.
Thank you so much, everybody. Again, it's www.hillsideconnection.org. Terrell, you're the man. You're doing all some amazing things here, and I'm very grateful that I met you, and so happy that you could share your story.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's stay connected. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, everybody.
Yep.